Should Prince Harry stop criticising the royals? Senior aides working for the King and his son have just held peace talks in London. Insiders say it's the first time a channel of communication has been opened up for years. Now, you might remember, recently, Harry said he wanted to reconcile with his family. Have a look.
Some members of my family will never forgive me for writing a book. Of course, they will never forgive me for lots of things. But, you know, there is... I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has.
Well, the peace talks might be a positive sign, but sources say the King will only welcome a reunion if Harry agrees to scale back his public attacks on the family and stop the endless interviews. So, does Harry have to shut up if he wants to make up? Henry, I mean, we value free speech in this country,
of course,
don't we? Why is it so many people seem to want to deny it to Harry?
Because he's been painted as this pampered, vain, thin-skinned idiot, and his wife as some kind of American Jezebel. And the reasons we got into this place, going from about 2017-18 onwards, when he and Meghan started dating and then got married in 2018, have been forgotten. The countless briefing against her by members of the royal household, with or without the tacit approval of senior members of the royal family, Meghan's father getting into the scene, the constant trashing, the feeling that they were in this goldfish bowl, the feeling that they needed to flee to find freedom, in those immortal words. That's one of the reasons why we got here, and we shouldn't erase it. Harry maybe has been intemperate and perhaps has gone over the top occasionally, but some terrible things have been said about him and Meghan too. And of course, there was that alleged fight with his bigger, older brother that took place in Frogmore Cottage. and there are, so he has sinned perhaps, but he's also been sinned against. So I wouldn't want to shut him up.
OK. Alys, you're an opinions editor. Why is Harry not allowed his opinions? Why is he not allowed to speak about the family that forms our head of state? It's the head of our ruling class.
That's not really what troubles me about it. You know, the thing about the royal family is that they are both a normal, ordinary family who've had this terrible falling out. Many of us can relate to that, and also an institution. And it's when he slags off the institution of the royal family that winds me up.
How
and when
can
he
you
talks
separate
about
the
the
two?
country, well, that's the delicate balance the royal family always needs to strike. And of course, it's very difficult for his family to welcome him back when he's publicly criticising them, calling them racist,
He never called them racist. All he said, sorry, Alys, we've got to get this on the record. All he said was that somebody asked how dark Archie would be, what his colour. Nobody said, because coming from an African background myself, when one of my siblings or relatives has a baby with somebody of a different ethnic origin, people often ask about the colour without it being a racist thing. All he said was somebody asked the question.
We've been given to understand that that was a particular accusation that really upset members of the royal family. But I think what really annoys me about Prince Harry, I don't care what he says, I don't have to listen. It's when he comes here and demands taxpayer money for his police protection. When this country is apparently so unsafe, but he'll go to Ukraine.
OK, we're talking about free speech here. We're talking about his right to express himself and whether that stops him being able to reunite with his family and reconcile. And we're going to pick that up in a bit. Don't go anywhere. We're taking your calls on this after the break. Do you think the King and Harry should reunite? Can Harry be forgiven? We're going straight back, though, to whether Prince Harry should stop criticising the royals. And we'll take your calls. Nancy's in County Down. Nancy, free speech. That's what it's about, isn't it? He's allowed to say whatever he wants.
Right, thank you. I just want to say that I would like to see the Prince and His Majesty being friends again. Life's too short, and we don't know how long His Majesty has to live. And it would be a terrible thing if he was passed and not reconciled with Harry. And the children, he must miss his grandchildren.
Nancy, I think you've brought a very human perspective and aspect to this, because we talk about this, it's in the papers, you know, these are people, these are faces. What we're talking about is a father and son, a grandfather and his grandchildren as well.
That's right. Well, I'm a grandmother and a great-grandmother, and I understand. I hadn't seen my granddaughter for 2 years, and I met her on Friday and didn't know her. Only the lady that was with her Auntie Caroline, she told me it was Bonnie, my great-granddaughter, and I was very upset about it. So I can have feelings for His Majesty not seeing his grandchildren.
I'm so sorry,
I think it's
Nancy.
terrible.
That's a hard thing to go through. Nancy,
It is, dear.
do you think it's then fair for the King to make a precondition of this coming to terms that Harry scales back what he says in public? Do you think that's only fair, or is that shutting him down?
No, I think that's a proper thing to do. He should not be discussing private affairs of the royal family.
Okay.
And I honestly don't think it's him. I think Meghan's behind everything.
Why do you think that, Nancy? Why would it not be him expressing his own thoughts and feelings about it?
I can't see him being like that, honestly.
Why?
I just don't know. It's just Harry of old.
I mean, he's always been outspoken. He's always gone against the grain.
Oh, yes.
Why suddenly, if he
Yes,
says something now, does it have to be Meghan's doing?
Yeah, I do think that. I'm sorry.
Okay, you don't have to apologise.
That's just my own opinion, dear.
You don't
And
have to...
we're all allowed our own opinions.
You do,
Absolutely.
and it's my job to challenge it as well, to try and find out the truth behind it. Nancy, thank you so much for calling. It's a great call. Anne's in Lancashire. What do you think, Anne? Do you think it's fair to shut down Harry, stop him speaking if he wants to get back on terms with his father and the rest of the family?
No, I don't. And the reason I don't is because I believe that God gave us free will to speak about what we want. What Harry is talking about directly affected him. Yeah?
Okay.
So if what he's saying is the truth, then it is his right to air what has happened and what has been said to him and Meghan.
What's the problem
However,
Sorry, carry on, Anne.
However, if it's not the truth, then yes, they should shut up and step back. But we're never. The point is, we're never going to know whether it's the truth or not, because the royal family haven't said whether it is or not, and never will. And it's Harry and Meghan that's being painted as the villains.
Anne,
but we don't know whether it is.
he can say this to anybody he wants. He can go directly to his dad and express his unhappiness about this situation. He says it to the papers or in a TV interview. He knows the royal family don't answer these kind of allegations, so he knows he's got a free pass.
I just think that there are certain things that have gone on that the public have a right to know, and if Harry's not allowed to tell the public, or anyone else for that matter, then how are we going to know? I'm not anti-royal, I'm really not. I'm not anti-royal, but I still think that there's an awful lot gone on in the royal family that the public don't know about. Okay. Not
Matt,
least Diana.
Sorry, Anne. We're talking as if Harry's got a free pass, as if he's the only one who initiates these stories, plants these stories, leaks them and attacks his family. The royal family doesn't speak out directly unless it's a walk and talk between Sir David Attenborough and the late Queen, for example, in the Royal Gardens. But they have established over the years ways of getting their message across through the Royal Press Pack, through preferred sources. They have press secretaries and directors of communications for a reason. They do hit back, but we just don't see it directly.
Anne really hit on something at the end there. Obviously, Harry's mother, Diana, casts a shadow over all of this. Her attempts to speak out, which we don't hear so much anymore, do we? We don't hear that interview with Diana anymore. It feels like she was closed down. He must be perhaps worried that that's going to happen to him as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Diana feeds into everything here. Harry clearly has a personal animus against the British tabloid press and is now trying to use his own profile and platform in exactly the same way Diana did to get his own message across, to kind of weaponise his own emotional experiences against the institution of the royal family. But I think what Nancy really put her finger on there is that Harry used to be the most popular royal before he met Meghan, and clearly something changed. And I don't think it's right that there was all this briefing against them. They were an incredibly popular couple. Britain was delighted to have its first mixed-race princess, and it's so upsetting that it has soured in this way. And
The question is why, though? We talk as if it was she who initiated it, and there were other things going on. That's why they had to express themselves.
OK, let's take another call. Alys is in Manchester. Alys, what do you think? Do you think it's fair for the King to say, if you want us to get back together again, you have to stop speaking out like this?
Absolutely. It's a no-brainer. I mean, for goodness sake, it's like someone wanting to shake your hand and slap you at the same time. This is, you know, for goodness sake, if you want to be part of the family again, you cannot be, you can't expect to be allowed to criticise as you have been doing. He's an absolute disgrace, Matt. He really is. The royal family, as you pointed out, are in a position where they don't answer back.
Alys, not openly. Alys, not openly, but they have friends in the media and always have.
You don't know that, Henry. You don't know that. You're
Alys, I work in the industry. I do know this.
Well, whatever. I really don't want to get into that. Henry, I love you. I really do.
I love you too, Alys. I love you too. Thank you.
No, you don't know me.
I know, but I love you anyway.
I've watched you many times. But really, I do think that, you know, he has a hidden agenda, and it's very natural for the royal family to think, if we let him back in again, he is going to write another book about his experience with the family.
It's a fair point, Alys. We have to leave it there. I just want to go back to our first caller there, and just, you know, as a view, just say, you know, wouldn't it be great if they could just be father and son and share some space, time with the grandkids? I think that's what most of us want. Thank you for all of your calls on that. Thanks, Alys, as well.